can feel perfectly healthy and still be minutes away from a fatal heart attack. Because your body is extraordinarily good at hiding problems until the moment they become irreversible. Biology does not reward effort. It rewards survival. And sometimes, survival means keeping you unaware. This is why someone can run long distances, have no pain, no warning signs, and still collapse without ever knowing something was wrong. Your heart doesn't fail because you're weak. It fails because it adapts too well. Most people believe heart disease works like a clogged pipe. They imagine fat slowly filling an artery until blood can't get through anymore. They assume they'll feel it coming. Shortness of breath, chest pain, a clear signal that something is wrong. That belief is logical, and it's dangerously wrong. To understand why, we need to look at how the heart is actually built. Your heart is a muscle with an enormous appetite for oxygen. To survive, it relies on a network of vessels wrapped tightly around it called the coronary arteries. These vessels are the heart's personal supply lines. If one fails, the muscle it feeds begins to die almost immediately. But here's the part most people don't know. A healthy artery isn't rigid. It's flexible, like a new rubber hose. The inner lining is smooth, allowing blood cells to slide through with almost no resistance. Over the cages, though, things like high blood pressure, blood sugar spikes, inflammation, and even constant mechanical stress slowly damage that lining. The injuries are microscopic. You can't feel them, you don't notice them, but your body does. When that inner wall gets scratched, your body tries to fix it. Cholesterol is sent in as repair material. Immune cells arrive to manage the damage. Over time, this repair site hardens into plaque, a mix of fat, calcium, and cellular debris. This process is called atherosclerosis. Here's where the illusion begins. Instead of growing inward and blocking blood flow, the artery often expands outward. The vessel wall stretches to make room for the plaque, keeping the blood channel wide open. This is called positive remodeling. Blood flow stays normal. Oxygen delivery stays strong. You'll feel feeny. You can exercise. You can feel energized. You can pass every basic test, all while a dangerous buildup grows silently inside the artery wall. This is why the first symptom of heart disease for so many people isn't pain, it's collapse. The body hides the problem so well that there's no warning until the system suddenly fails. Feeling healthy is not the same as being safe. And understanding that difference is the first step towards staying alive. So if plaque can grow without blocking blood flow, what actually turns a silent artery into a fatal event? The answer isn't size. It's stability. And this is where most people completely misunderstand how heart attacks really happen. Not all plaque is the same. Some plaques are hard, calcified, and relatively stable. Others are soft, inflamed, and fragile. Think of stable plaque like a hardened callus. It's ugly, but it doesn't rupture easily. Soft plaque, on the other hand, is more like a blister covered by a thin layer of skin. It looks harmless until it suddenly tears open. Inside that soft plaque is inflammatory material your body desperately wants to isolate. As long as the surface stays intact, blood flows normally and you feel nothing. But if that thin cap ruptures, everything changes instantly. When plaque ruptures, its contents spill into the bloodstream. Your body doesn't recognize this as plaque. It recognizes it as a wound. And wounds trigger an emergency response. Platelets rush in. Clotting factors activate. Within minutes, a clot forms directly on top of the rupture. This reaction is life-saving when you cut your skin. Inside a coronary artery, it's catastrophic. The clot can grow so fast that it seals the artery completely, like a cork forced into a bottle. Blood flow doesn't slow down, it stops. And when blood stops, heart muscle begins to die. This is why heart attacks often come out of nowhere. They aren't caused by years of gradual narrowing. They're caused by a sudden event layered on top of a hidden problem. A person can have less than 50% blockage and still suffer a massive heart attack if the plaque is unstable. There's another scenario that complicates this even further. Sometimes there isn't a full blockage at all. Instead, the heart simply can't get enough blood to meet demand. When your heart rate spikes during intense exercise, stress, or illness, the heart muscle needs dramatically more oxygen. If an artery is partially narrowed, it may deliver enough blood at rest, but fail under pressure. This mismatch between supply and demand causes the heart muscle begins to suffocate even though blood is still flowing. Cells under stress start to die and leak proteins into the bloodstream. This is still a heart attack, just driven by overload rather than a complete blockage. The most dangerous part is how silent this process can be. Fatigue, nausea, dizziness, or a vague sense that something feels wrong are often ignored or misinterpreted. The body doesn't scream. It whispers. And those whispers are easy to miss. Your heart doesn't fail because it's weak. It fails because it tolerated damage for too long. And the better your body is at adapting, the harder it becomes to recognize when you're in real danger. One of the most dangerous myths about heart health is the idea that fitness equals safety. It doesn't. In fact, in some situations, high performance can expose hidden weaknesses faster than a sedentary life ever would. Here's why. Your heart doesn't fail when it's relaxed. It fails when demand explodes. At rest, even a partially narrowed artery can deliver enough oxygen to keep the heart muscle alive. Blood moves steadily. Cells survive. Nothing feels wrong. But when your heart rate climbs, everything changes. As your pulse accelerates, the heart needs exponentially more oxygen. It beats faster, contracts harder, and shortens the time it has to refill between beats. If the coronary arteries can't increase supply at the same rate demand is rising, the system breaks. This is a supply and demand crisis, not a plumbing failure. The danger is that this kind of failure doesn't look dramatic at first. There may be no crushing chest pain. Instead, the signals are subtle. Sudden exhaustion, lightheadedness, nausea, a strange sense that something feels off. Many people mistake these signs for dehydration, stress, or overexertion and push through them. That decision can be fatal. When heart muscle cells are deprived of oxygen, they begin to die. As they break down, they release specific proteins into the bloodstream. These proteins are not symptoms you can feel. They are chemical evidence that damage has already occurred. By the time they appear, the injury is real. Electrical instability makes this scenario even more dangerous. The heart relies on precise timing to fill and pump efficiently. If that rhythm becomes chaotic, the heart may beat rapidly without filling properly. Oxygen demand spikes even higher, while delivery drops even further. The muscle is trapped in a losing equation. This explains why heart attacks don't always happen at rest. They often occur during physical stress, emotional stress, or sudden exertion. The heart reaches a point where compensation fails, and the system collapses under its own demand. There is a cruel irony here. People who are disciplined, active, and confident in their health may be less likely to question vague warning signs. They trust their fitness. They trust how they feel. But biology doesn't care about identity or intention. It only responds to oxygen supply. Your heart doesn't measure effort. It measures delivery. And when delivery can't keep up, damage begins long before you realize you're in danger. This is why relying on symptoms alone is such a deadly mistake. The absence of pain does not mean the absence of disease. Sometimes it means the body has simply become very good at hiding it. So if your body can hide a dangerous heart problem so well, is there any good news? Yes. And it comes down to one word: information. Not how you feel, not how fit you look, but what is actually happening inside your arteries. Your heart has a quiet survival mechanism called collateral circulation. When blood flow is reduced slowly over many years, the heart can adapt by building tiny side vessels that reroute blood around problem areas. Think of your main arteries as highways. If traffic builds gradually, your body starts paving back roads. These detours don't make you invincible, but they buy time. And in heart disease, time is everything. This is why older individuals sometimes survive heart attacks that would instantly kill younger people. The damage develops slowly enough for the heart to create backups. In younger or highly active people, plaque rupture is often sudden. There are no detours. Blood flow stops and tissue begins to die almost immediately. In emergency medicine, there's a phrase: time is muscle. Within about 20 minutes of complete blood flow loss, heart muscle starts suffering irreversible damage. After 90 minutes, that muscle is often replaced by scar tissue. Scar tissue doesn't contract, it doesn't pump, It doesn't recover. Every minute without oxygen permanently changes how your heart works for the rest of your life. This is why recognizing symptoms matters, but also why symptoms alone aren't enough. Classic chest pressure and arm pain do happen, but they aren't universal. Many people experience crushing fatigue, breathlessness, nausea, or a sudden sense of doom instead. These signals are easy to dismiss, especially if you believe you're healthy. But the most important shift is moving from guessing to measuring. Standard blood tests only tell you what's floating in your bloodstream. They don't show whether those materials are sticking to your artery walls. To see that, you need imaging. One powerful tool is a coronary calcium scan. It takes minutes and measures hardened plaque. A low score is reassuring. A high score is a warning you can't feel. Another option is a coronary CT angiogram, which can visualize soft plaque before it hardens. These scans don't predict the future. They reveal the present. Heart attacks caused by healthy hearts aren't bad luck. They're tragedies of ignorance. The technology exists. The information exists. The mistake is assuming how you feel reflects what's happening inside you. Your heart doesn't care about confidence. It cares about oxygen. Don't guess if you're healthy. Know.